Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome to Aquarius's reading for January 2026. Aquarius, this reading feels like Spirit is going to lift the veil on your near future. This is just what I'm feeling very strongly. What's coming in 2026, which is a channeled message, by the way, but what I picked up in what's coming in 2026 isn't something you planned. It's something your soul has been preparing for. And I find that interesting because that's kind of where Spirit left it. Something that your soul has been prepared for. So 2026 feels like the year that you really stop explaining yourself and start being met. So let's go to the cards and Spirit, and let's see how January is going to look. Um, by the way, this is going to be for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and certainly those intuitively guided. This year, I have a feeling many of you are going to be intuitively guided to readings that, that aren't your sign, but you're listening to your intuition. I know many of you had like tremendous growth over 2025. And not only am I proud of you, but your spiritual team is proud of you. So we have quite a few decks we're going to go through. I'm going to bring the lid down. And what I'm going to do for January, because we are opening up year one finger, year one, the year of the magician. Powerful, I'm telling you. We just went through the year of the hermit. It's been about reflection. But truly, so you know what it is you want to manifest this year. Remind yourself, universally, we are all the magician, the alchemist this year. So that's powerful. So what I'm going to do for January, I don't think I'm going to do it every month, but for January, I'm going to break the reading apart, and I'm going to do love separately, and I'm going to use the psychic tarot with the crystal vision, and then I'm going to do your money and career. I'm going to use the tarot of dreams with the gilded tarot. Mother Mary will open up our reading with her beautiful words of wisdom, and I am not getting rid of the major arcanas. I feel like they bring too much value to the reading. So let's slide. Oh, what's that? Didn't want to come. Let's take a look. Seven of Pentacles. That's interesting. That's probably why I feel like your guides are lifting the veil. Like, I feel like we're going to get a very clear view of potential. And I have to say potential because there's free will. But this, my friends, is your tree of life. And these seeds are your soul seeds of intention. And your guides saying to me that this is a year that your soul has been preparing for. Wow. Seven of Pentacles just fits perfectly with that. I'm not going to take it because this is under the money sector. But I definitely want to recognize it. All right, let's slide everything open and let's give the table to Mother Mary. I would ask you to just kind of quiet your mind. Just let your intuition open. And if you have a hard time doing that, that's where your spirit guides come in. They're like, we'll help you. We'll send you signs. We'll let you know you'll feel it. But then you can also ask your guides, like, to send, like, a certain number, or, I'll leave that between you and your guides. But I say random things all the time. And I have learned that I say them because that is someone's word. All right, Mother Mary. Mother Mary, for my beautiful Aquariuses. Shout out to my brother, whose birthday is January 24th. He has crossed over. Mike, giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. I balance being generous, and I have a feeling many of you don't have a problem with that. But are you able to receive, like truly receive? Sam and I did a podcast because so many people ask about our relationship. I mean, it is pretty special, how we came back together. Um, but why am I saying this? Oh, I told Sam in the podcast because it was just like we didn't have show notes. We just talked. And I told him, I said, I don't feel like I've been in love, but I don't feel like my heart had ever been truly fulfilled until we reconnected again. And it's like, oh, I remember. I remember. By the way, when I bring up my experiences, chances are it's going to relate to someone. All right, let's give Mother Mary a crystal. This is my next goal, is to learn all about crystals. Last year I was learning numerology, and this year I really want to know crystals and their effect on us. Like I know rose quartz is great for attracting love. All right. Major arcanas. Aquarius. 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 I have to say that's one of my favorite plays. Well, hello, spiritual team. Here they go, getting ready to lift the veil. So when you see judgment, know that they are calling you to the present moment. That's a good thing. That means there's signs that are going to lead to some type of a rebirth that will only benefit you. I mean, this is something, it's of the light. So, judgment, your whole spiritual team. And for those who don't know, before we incarnated into this lifetime or any lifetime, we have a whole spiritual team, angels, archangels, spirit guides who have walked this earth, ancestors. They're all here to help us. I watched something last night and they called it the third man syndrome. And this is when people were in like very difficult situations, let's say. Like they were talking about explorers and how each of them separately talked about like this third man energy, like a guardian angel that helped them to survive. And, I knew I was going to be talking about that show. What was the show? It was on the History Channel. Anyway, judgment, present moment. Wow. That makes sense, right? The world. The world speaks of something that has come to completion now. And we know 2025 has come to completion. And I kind of feel like that's what this is representing. Just as also, I feel like when you are your most spiritual self, like you're walking hand in hand with your spiritual team. So, how beautiful that your spiritual team came out first. And this person in this portal is the Fool, ready to take that leap of faith. I feel like just get excited. Well, and then we have the actual Fool. And the Fool is mirroring Judgment. So this is what your spiritual team is asking for. This is the clearing of the past, which is what 2025 was all about. You guys are probably going to be so happy that I'm not going to be talking about that anymore. Um, and this is about a new beginning. So, Judgment saying, I need your attention in the present moment because there is going to be some type of rebirth, if not more than one. It is going to require you to take a leap of faith. It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with the past other than the wisdom that you have gained, through your experiences. So it is like you're answering your call. You're answering the call. And so the energy of the world can begin. I like that a lot. Short but sweet and to the point. And I have to say, excuse me, to me, the world's energy, many times what is developing in that energy, I feel like has an opportunity to stay with us for the rest of our lives. So when we look at love, if love is coming in, chances are it's going to be forever and a day. Um, and you may have to take a leap of faith, but you're meant to. There's nothing to fear here. That is for sure. There's nothing to fear. Your spiritual team, they're leading you, they're guiding you. And again, if you have a hard time like deciphering, was that a sign? Is that a message? Ask your guides. I talk to my guides all the time, like they're right here. I mean, they are right here. But I do. I talk to them all the time. Matter of fact, I just did a short personal reading for myself that I did end up releasing, um, just because it was deep. And it was on a day I was so low that I wanted to see why. So, anyway, I'm not sure why I'm saying that. All right, let's go ahead and open up the love sector. And then we'll move into your career and money. And they may all read, it may end up reading like as one together. That's kind of how Capricorn's reading went. All right, let's give them a cut. And let's begin. My daughter has an Aquarius moon. I would say out of all the men she dated, the majority of them were Aquariuses, which is interesting. She's a Scorpio, by the way. Speaking of Scorpio, transformation. Speaking of your spiritual team, right? This is the death card. And the death card means that, something has again come to an end. A door has closed, but I have a feeling you closed that door because I have a feeling you're allowing this transformation to take place. It's like becoming a butterfly, like you're becoming the butterfly. I get the sense that, wow, that card just flew off the table. And how interesting it is your major arcana. Here they call it hope. But this is the star. And look at this, 2 major arcanas back to back, Scorpio and Aquarius. Interesting, I just said that about my daughter. Excuse me. So the star, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. The Fool, you're taking a leap of faith. And this is on love. There's transformation in love for you. There's going to be some type of transformation, whether it be like a higher vibrational type of love. Huh. Hello, Ace of Wands. What's it say? Passion ignited. Look what it's doing. It's activating your heart chakra. Sitting right next to the star. Right under the Fool. And then the Chariot. And here, it's called Triumph. Chariot speaks about your unlimited potential. But something is telling me you're connecting with another. Now, because your spiritual team is involved here, being the very first energy, it's got to be a soulmate. You know, I feel like for some of you, you have worked so hard in 2025 to clear old energy, to clear energy that kind of held you in place or held you back. And just like your spiritual team said before I started this reading, like this is a period of time um where again, like you're not explaining yourself and you are starting to be met. And to me that means your energy. So another way of saying that is think about 2025, the things that you have cleared, the things that have faded away. Did I allow them to fade away? You know, if something is fading, chances are it's meant to. Because that means something else may be waiting, you know, and it can be of a soul's calling. And again, this is what I picked up for you. Like this is what your soul's been preparing for. And this transformation, I have a feeling it had to happen. I have a feeling something had to come to completion. And, you know, let's just put it this way. I don't feel like I'm messing around as it relates to love anymore. Like, I don't feel like I am gonna stay in any type of situation where there's unclarity. You know, someone who's here and then gone and back and then gone. I feel like you're saying no more. No more. And my friends, that statement alone opens up what your spirit guides say. Okay, they are now prepared. They are now ready. Let's activate their heart chakra. Let's let them get ready internally for when they meet this. They're much more willing to take that leap. And by the way, a 1. And something is telling me, like, you know, it's okay to go step by step by step. But then you got the Chariot. And the Chariot is, you know, it can be fast moving energy. But it's really up to you in the Chariot. The Chariot requires balance first and foremost. And that is the balance of the feminine and the masculine within ourselves, the light and the shadow. Something I say, or I've been saying a lot lately, is we need to know our shadow self. We need to know our shadow self as much as we know our light self. We need to know us. Good, the bad, the ugly, but not with judgment. 7 plus a 1, 8. Some of you, it's like you're allowing this new beginning. All right. Choose wisely. 77. It is not the first time I've gotten 77. Interesting. I've been getting it a lot lately. Like 1977. And that may ring a bell. Like these sevens may ring a bell. By the way, 7 is a very spiritual number. But 7 of Cups puts the ball in your court. It's telling you that a cup is coming in. It's telling you that it truly does have unlimited potential and passion. And I feel playfulness. Some of you, it's telling you that this is your true person. I feel like we don't want to look back at like people that we've loved and be like, what was I thinking? We're either the teacher or the student in every situation. So instead of saying, what was I thinking? What did I learn? And I feel like as we started at the beginning, okay, I learned what I don't want. I learned what I need in love and what I don't need. Aquarius, you're a very freedom loving sign. And I do feel like someone's got to respect that. Like someone's got to give you time and space. And it doesn't have anything to do with them. It's just what you need. And I get that as a Virgo. Like I need that quiet time also. It has nothing to do, again, with, not wanting to be around someone. But I feel like during your quiet time, this could be when you're receiving a lot of epiphanies, a lot of ideas. We'll see in your money sector, but you're definitely receiving a cup. Okay, keep going. And I want to remind you again that this cup isn't just coming from any old place. It's divinely guided. This is a peek behind the veil, is what I'm hearing. All right, tell us more then. We have power. This is the strength card. And, it's interesting because the first thing I felt is this is what I have gained through 2025. This is what I have gained through looking within, getting to know myself. I feel like, it says power and it does give you power, but I also feel like it gives you courage. Like, I feel like you earn the badge of courage and you never lose that. Could have been things that you had to overcome, but again, could have been like, things within yourself. Or again, some of you are making clear statements, whether you're speaking it or energetically. Whatever has happened in the past, this transformation now wants to take place. But it feels like because you are ready, And I don't know if I gave any signs, but it's crazy all the major arcana. So we have Scorpio, you, Cancer, and Leo. But this 8 is a new beginning and will one allow oneself, I feel like if you truly put the past in the past and you're ready to step forward, I feel like that's all you got to do. Whoa. We have stand your ground. Another 7, by the way. 777. Now that has got to be spiritual. Judgment again. Right under passion ignited. I have a feeling 2 hearts are being ignited. Another Leo card. Sacrifice. And then firm foundation. Okay. So first of all, firm foundation coming under the energy where you're making a choice. That's something I would think about, right? Because anything you build, you want to build it on a strong foundation. I have a feeling, this sacrifice, I do feel like you may have sacrificed something, um, but for the betterment of you, for the betterment of your life. There's my son's birthday, by the way, 8/12. All right, we have Justice on the bottom of the deck, another major arcana, Libra. But Justice, number 11. It's funny because when I think of 11, I think of twin flames. Not always. And there's another one. Let's see what's underneath it. The sun. Holy Leo. The sun. Your illuminator. What's on the bottom of the deck is what's ready to go. And justice is about what's fair and just in your world. It asks you if you feel balanced. And I have a feeling you didn't. And some of you use that sword. That sword of justice, I feel like is a gift. Just like our intuition is a gift. I also feel the sword. Because I don't feel like it's a one-time thing. You use that sword anytime you need to. And sometimes it doesn't have to mean I'm cutting ties with someone, but you're cutting some type of energetic ties. Anything that's left you in an unbalanced state. So, opening with the death card with justice on the bottom, I feel like my Aquariuses, at least the majority of them, have found balance. Interesting, we have 2 spiritual teams because I do feel like, because we are talking about love right now, that there are 2 heart chakras being activated. And sitting right next to the star. I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful. And then the chariot on the other side of that. Well, we could look at the divine feminine and divine masculine as coming to balance. And that may be their time. Your time. All right, well, let's keep going. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. I'm going to use the crystal vision to clarify love. I say clarify, but go deeper. Let's give him a cut. Excuse me. I feel like I just Let me grab a drink real quick. I've been doing so much talking lately with the readings and what have you. And Sam and I are going to do another podcast this weekend. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we're talking about love. We're talking about love. And I feel like this time we'll talk a little bit about our story again, but I feel like we're just going to let it flow. I don't know why I just said that or brought that up right now. We have the High Priestess, your intuition. Hello, Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of Virgo, by the way. And I do know some of you just don't like Virgo, which is interesting because I am a Virgo. But I'm not saying you don't like me. I'm just saying like in love. And Virgo's a hard sign to love. I know that. But anyways, I don't feel like it's talking about Virgo. I feel like it's talking about you and how you feel. This is really feeling independent. This is you creating success for yourself. You know, it's like your spirit team is saying, don't just have one dream, have many. But then you do have to put the effort behind it at the same time. You know, in the Nine of Pentacles, this person is receiving material harvest, but it's their hard work. And what I love about the Nine of Pentacles is you are the main benefactor. Interesting how she's heading this tiger. She's become one with their shadow side. You know, I don't know if someone asked, but I get the sense that someone said, I would love to have love, but I do not want to lose my independence at the same time. And your guide just saying, oh, you're not going to lose your independence. You will have that quiet time. This is someone I feel like your team is saying, whatever love is coming in, because we know there's a cup coming in when you see the Seven of Cups. But I feel like what it's saying is someone who will respect the fact, you know, I felt a couple of different things all of a sudden, like someone who will respect what you do, or even if it's something you're thinking of doing. Okay, so this person would lift you up. This person would say, go get him, go get him. They would be in your corner. This is not someone to be like, what are you thinking? No, they're going to be in your corner. And by the way, you're going to be in their corner too. Because when I talk about you, I feel like I'm also talking about them. I love that the High Priestess is the first clarifier, so to speak. Your intuition. You know, your heart chakra being activated. So the feeling. And then the willingness to take that leap of faith and trusting your intuition. Your GPS in this lifetime. Try not to forget that. Like it truly is your GPS. Okay, just keep going. Holy cow. Holy cow. Okay, we're going to start with what is face up. And we have judgment again. Judgment, judgment, judgment. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Magician. Beautiful. And then, well, hello, lovers. Look at that. Right over Judgment. But here, it's called Truth. Truth. The lovers. In truth. In the light. And then the Strength card. Holy Leo. If there's not someone connected to Leo, then I would be very surprised. Excuse me. All right, let's go over this. So, I feel like I want to come to the Ten of Wands first because it's coming over the Strength card. And this is where you are allowing this new beginning or this transformation. But look at the energy. So, this is what you've been dealing with. And this is not easy. You know, I often feel like this is like pushing that boulder up a hill. I don't want to push it anymore. This can talk about a time of heavy responsibilities. Some of you, it could also talk about like groundwork that you've been laying, and this may be the year or the month to bring it to fruition. Don't forget, we saw the Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. But this is what you've overcome. You know, some of you, you're making a clear statement. Because we're talking about love, I am not going to be in a one-sided relationship. I do not want to have to question, does someone love me or do they not? I'm done with that. I'm done with that. But let me tell you what helped you get to that. The Nine of Wands. And that is reflection. But it's a different type of reflection. It's not judgment. This is looking back to really notice or to show yourself how much you have grown, at least over the last 9 years. You know, we just closed out the 9-year cycle. We're now entering into year 1, the year of the Magician, and you have it. Everyone behind this person is something they have overcome, something of an adventure. Can be choices that I made that maybe didn't work out in my favor, but I still learned something. So truly, this is what you have learned. This is why you are who you are today, and something and someone to be proud of. And this is why you're saying no more. And what does that do? It puts you in the Magician's energy, the Alchemist. What do you want to manifest? It's like your spiritual team's ears are wide open. Well, I think I want to manifest love. So out comes the Lovers. Chemistry. The meaning of this card is a head over heart decision. And because we have the Seven of Cups, that is probably going to be the case. But your spiritual team is all around this energy, everywhere. And, you know, you can't see it in this image, but in a lot of decks, you'll see the lovers naked. And that's a good sign. Because when I see someone naked in a card, I feel like someone's being their authentic self. And because both lovers are naked, it's like each, first of all, comfortable in their own skin, but then also loving you for exactly who you are. And that doesn't mean perfect, because no one is. How do I love the lovers mirroring the world? And what did I say about the world in the beginning? Whatever opens up in the world, I feel like lasts for the rest of your life and a day. Hello, lovers. And I feel like you're mirroring each other because I feel like both of you had to overcome something. I say had to, you chose to. Like I want to give you the credit. You chose to. You chose to look at life differently. And that's where the Three of Wands comes in. Three of Wands is an optimistic view. And why can I have that optimistic view now? Because you put this anything that just is working against you. You now know it. Otherwise I don't feel like the magician would show. So the Three of Wands is doing exactly what Judgment is asking for, being in the present moment. It is the energy of optimism and gratitude. It is the energy of trusting in divine and even saying to divine, I know my shifts, my love will come in its perfect timing. And I am now ready. And that's probably the biggest component. You are now ready. You are looking at love with an optimistic lens versus a fear-based lens. I am not going to say the fear won't raise its ugly head, but I feel like it'll be a different type of fear. Like we'll mistake it as fear. I feel like it's going to be chemistry. It's going to be butterflies. It's going to be scary, but in a good way. And because I definitely see the mirroring, I feel like you're going to understand each other probably like no one else can. Even your best friend. I feel like this person's going to get you and you're going to get them. Again, I feel like I have to say what Spirit told me in the beginning, that this is something your soul has been preparing for. And Spirit was clear when they said soul versus the human mind, the human heart. Now, that's all part of it. But the human mind has to allow. And that's kind of what the Seven of Cups is. That's free will, right? Your spirit guides can't make you accept this cup. They are trying everything possible to make you feel that it's safe. But listen, we have the Fool, we have the Magician, we have the Three of Wands. Nothing is moving us fast. Doesn't mean that it won't move fast, but it doesn't have to. And I feel like that's so you can be comfortable in it. I mean, do you have to accept it? No. Do I feel the majority of you will? Yes. But I do feel like there's a small number that's going to say no. And it may just be like, I'm sick of love. But I don't think you've met or felt this type of love. It's different. I'm telling you. This is someone, I'm telling you, who will lift you up. Be in your corner. And when you have talks, I feel like you can go deep. And I feel like one of the conversations you're going to have, You know, you may feel a little fearful or they may feel a little fearful, but I feel like whichever one feels fearful, the other one is going to be able to soothe, comfort. Okay. You know, uh, it, everything within me feels like your spiritual team wants you to want this. All right. We have the Page of Swords, and then we have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so I get it now. I get why, it could be scary. Seven of Swords to me, often I feel like this is narcissistic type energy. Definitely a me, me, me. And I feel like this is someone who, they tell you what you want to hear. And many times it's not the truth. But this is someone, reminds me like a kid who doesn't want to deal with the consequences of their own actions. And, you know, they call this a thief in the night. To me, this is someone who, well, you know, let's just put it this way. Let's let their spiritual team deal with them. Because this is not about what's coming in. This is about what you're overcoming. But it is showing you overcoming it. It's not saying that this person is coming back. I get comments all the time like I'm not taking this person back over a narcissist. Is that well, your guides would never tell you or ask you or even bring up the idea of taking someone back who cheated or hurt you, unless, you know, I don't know. I don't know, unless what? Well, they do have the same opportunities to evolve as we do. But here's the thing. I feel like you're moving on from that. Period. And another thing, Seven of Swords mirroring the High Priestess, your intuition. You know, I feel like what your spiritual team is saying is we know that you've dealt with some lower vibrational energy in love. Your energy may also have been lower, and therefore we attract, right? We attract what our energy is. But now, especially with the Nine of Wands, you realize not only what you deserve, but how much you have grown. Wow, that means your vibration has lifted, and therefore the energy is meeting you right where you are at. I feel like there are going to be conversations. I feel like both lovers have dealt with untrustworthy energy, and both of them had to come to resolution within themselves, justice, the cutting of those ties. I feel like you've already cut the ties, but it may talk about energetically. This has nothing to do with what wants to be. And this may have taught you something very valuable. And sometimes it's just literally what we do not want. Okay. But again, I want to remind you this is in the row of what has faded away. Or if it hasn't, boy, it's like overdue to fade away. I wasn't going to go beneath, but since we already have one beneath, let's go ahead and Six of Wands, victory and success. And it's funny is this is other people looking up to you because of action steps you've taken, This can definitely put you in a leadership role. We'll see when we go to your money and career. Um, but I definitely feel like you'll be looking up to each other. You both have accomplished something. It's like both of you have reached a mountaintop, and that mountaintop is beautiful. Connected to the magician and the Nine of Wands. I'm sorry, the Nine of Pentacles, successful self-employment. Okay, let's see what else we got. The Eight of Pentacles, the King of Swords, that's probably you, male or female, by the way. The Six of Pentacles, which matches Mother Mary's message, and then the Moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. We have double Cancer here. All right, so you know, this is interesting because when I did Capricorn's reading, um, what I found is the person that they're loving, um, are going to have an opportunity in January, or at least in 2026, early 2026, to collaborate together. I feel the same thing here. I feel the same thing. The Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles can answer a question in a love reading. How do we know that this will be successful? This wasn't. Well, it tells you if both lovers are willing to put their attention and their focus on this love, it will only grow and blossom. Some of you have come into this lifetime to master love. And you may have a master number life path or a personal year. You may be in a master number like 11, 22, 33, 44. I feel like the Page of Swords coming out is a conversation. And I feel like the conversation is around, you know, giving and receiving. But what I mean by that is, like, I feel like someone may say, I have a tendency in love to be the one who gives, but I don't feel like I've received in equal numbers. It's just the way it's been. And I feel like whatever you say, they're also going to say. And not to mimic you, but because it's true. I feel like the lovers, chemistry, off the charts, undeniable, brought in by your spiritual team. They're activating the heart chakra first, which is beautiful, but they're answering one of your prayers. And I feel like they're only asking a few different things. Let what has come to completion complete. Accept this transformation. It is definitely in your favor. Be willing to be the fool. And that means taking that leap of faith. But get excited about it. To me, the fool's very playful. There's nothing, the fool is unencumbered. Why? Because this fool has used this sword over and over again, maybe every 9 years. And this is what lets the fool be light. Okay. I feel like these are going to be long readings, but they are January's. And I do want them to be thorough. All right, so I'm bringing in the romance angels. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. And what is this reading about? Everything is calling you to the present moment. This forgiving, it doesn't mean you have to pick up the phone and call someone, especially if they were bad news. I don't know that I'd pick up the phone, and I have dealt with people like that, and I have forgiven them. But I didn't call them up. I just forgave in my own heart. I had to. Because otherwise you're carrying the weight of that. It's not about forgetting. It's about if you remember something that's hard, you're no longer feeling it. So it's not fresh, but also learning. That's what the Nine of Wands is saying to you. Interesting how all the cards are coming over to my left hand. Well, left for love. What do I have? Oh, very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Understand the wording, your present moments, that it comes to you now. Judgment, calling you to the present moment, asking you step into the Fool's energy. These lovers, I don't feel like this is anything you got to do then other than put your intentions out there very soon. All right, let's see if anything else wants to come out. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Oh my gosh. And passion. Well, that would describe the lovers. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Aquarius. Forgiving and learning. It feels like a 5 to me. Like, okay, I do that. That 5 brings change. Well, that change is a new love, but not just a new love. Passion is the name of the game, and it may be your clue. When? Very soon. Very soon. And it is love. And it is going to fill your heart with joy. Just allow it. I feel like some of you meet this person and you're just home one day and you find yourself singing. Like all of a sudden, boy, I'm singing all the time. It's your heart. It's expressing the joy that it's feeling. This is beautiful. And it's very clear. And I hope you feel it's very clear. All right. We got to keep moving. Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. I have a feeling someone's, I feel like your father or your brother, or maybe, I definitely feel it's a male, used to say that. Keep on keeping on. Did I just say that right? Keep on keeping on. Okay. money and career, my friends. But judgment, the world, and the fool, they stay out. They stay on the table because they're relating to both, not just love, but also your career, your creativity, your money. And we will use the Gilded Tarot to clarify. And the Tarot, look at that. Seven of Pentacles didn't want to come up again. But I do want to give them a shuffle. Even though they are pre-shuffled. I just think it's important for me to give them at least one shuffle with you here. The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands. Passion. Passion rushing in. Undeniable. You know, and many have heard me say this many times, but I do feel like a knight will complete their mission come hell or high water. So this passion, this feels to me like epiphanies, ideas, opportunities, like change, but in a good way. I wouldn't be surprised for some of you if like all of a sudden you start thinking about new things, like a new business. But I feel like your mind will be piqued. Your interest will be piqued. And who knows, maybe the love is first. And maybe that alone helps bring passion back into your soul. But again, every knight's going to complete their mission. This knight may have been sent by the king or queen of wands, but it doesn't have to be. Judgment. I mean, there is a theme here, and we're using a different deck. There's your spiritual team. They're like, what do you think? We're only in there for their love? We're here for everything. Hello, Ten of Cups. House of Harmony, love, joy, laughter, singing. Oh my God. Your major arcana again. The Star. And if that is not good enough, how about the Sun? And I'll tell you why that makes me happy. Anytime you see the Sun in a reading, it really signifies that this is going to be a good time. This is a time where shadow is not part of the equation. Or if it is, it's because you are examining it. The sun is your illuminator. It illuminates whatever you want it to illuminate. Some of you had a dream of working from home, but maybe you weren't sure, like, with what? Like, what can I do? And I feel like that's what this night is about. It's to help give you direction, but it's also signifying something that's going to feel very passionate to you, like it becomes your baby. And how beautiful if, at least this was my dream, was to work from home. But because I'm not a morning person, hated every single morning getting up early for my whole career. It's like once I got to work, I was fine. But, anyways, it's like, again, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and the sun illuminating it. But not just illuminating what they are, but how to get them, how to manifest them. This Knight of Wands, it's funny how I said a knight was probably sent by a king or a queen. Not here. It's sent by your spiritual team. So it is real epiphanies, real ideas, real direction. Even if you already have a business or you work for the man or the woman, um, still you may make some life-changing decisions. Let's say that you have a job, but you've been unhappy. This is about finding your happiness. Well, there is that Seven of Pentacles. So, what is your spiritual team trying to say to you? That you have seeds coming to fruition. It is their time. Seven of Pentacles' first message is patience. But if you look at the Seven of Pentacles like your garden, right? And each one of these seeds I planted. Some pre-planted before I even came into this lifetime. Things that I knew that I wanted to learn or accomplish in this lifetime. But then you are born with amnesia. So it is kind of like finding yourself again. But these seeds, I know one is love and the other is for your money, your job, your wish. High Priestess, under judgment, the devil. Now, interesting because this is a card of Capricorn. But what I want you to notice is this person is in this cage and they feel like they're stuck, right? Like, I can't get out of this cage. The door's closed. I can't get out until someone lets me out. That's an illusion because the door really is wide open. This person just needs to lift their head, see it, cut through the illusion, and they're free. And they are free. Some of you may have felt stuck at a job, stuck in a situation. But now, feel like your mind is being set free. And that has to be because of you, but I feel like your spiritual team is also behind that. That sun, it illuminates everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. But it does it for us. It's like a sense of protection. If you want to know if something is good or bad and the sun is out, you'll know. Because anything done in the dark will come to the light when the sun shows. And it's right next to your major arcana. Your intuition and the Seven of Pentacles. If you're building something here, you are using your intuition. Some of you, I feel like you've done what I call shadow work. And I could see you now helping others to do shadow work or spiritual work. because it's really about helping others to grow. But I feel like that was probably a lesson you learned. And now you were the student, but now you are the teacher. I feel like this is a period of time where, if there are people around you saying, let's say you want to work from home. And if there's anyone around you like, oh, you won't be successful, don't buy it. If you feel it, trust it. If you feel like your guides are speaking to you and that's the direction, that's the illumination or the epiphanies that you're receiving, trust that. This is nobody else's business but yours. We have the moon. Well, what's interesting is the deck that I just put away, the Psychic Tarot, the moon is called Shadow. And I literally just talked about some of you helping others do shadow work. Strength card. Look at that. Double Leo again. Wow. The Death card again. Well, hello, Palace of Wands. To me, the Palace is my ultimate goal. So interesting that the Knight of Wands is the first card. And the Palace of Wands is the last card. I mean, we're still going to go back. We're going to go deeper, but for the Tarot Dreams, this is the last card. Sitting right next to the Death card. Transformation. But boy, what beautiful transformation it will bring. Or, I don't think I said that right. I feel like because of the transformation, the energy that now opens, like Aquarius, what is going on? It is like your dreams are becoming your reality. I know what's going on. I mean, we spent all year 2025 talking about the hermit, talking about reflection, talking about closing old cycles. And I feel like that's exactly what you did. And now you're seeing the true benefit of that. King of Cups on the bottom of the deck, I don't know. Two of Pentacles underneath that. I don't know if this king is fading away. Let's get right into the Gilded Tarot to try to not make this a 2-hour reading. It probably will be, though. But we've got to let it be what it wants to be. I often think I could make my videos a lot shorter. I could just do the one spread and not go deeper. But then I don't feel like I'd be true to myself or you. I go deeper for you because I don't want to just show you the potential of what can be. I want to show you how to reach it. I want to show you with your spiritual team how to make this your reality. That is my goal. So yes, they're long sometimes. Oh my God. Hello, Ten of Pentacles. Hello, House of Abundance. By the way, it's mirroring the sun. It is like there are no restrictions here. And by the way, I don't feel like you're alone. And that's probably why I did the love reading first. You know, the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, I often feel you're with another. But it doesn't even matter. This is talking about the abundance that you can create for yourself. This is a house that takes root. You know, I often feel in this energy, this can be a business that was created that then gets handed down like a family owned business. It can be whatever you want it to be. It is your passion. And then the Three of Cups, joy, a reason to celebrate. Judgment and judgment. I just realized they're connected. You know what I feel? I feel like you have some of your spiritual team that specializes, that's a word I'm supposed to use, specializes in love. And then you have some team members that specialize in abundance. And now we have the part of your team that works within abundance is now who is speaking to us. Page of Cups, who often feels like your inner child. But coming over the Ten of Cups, wow, playful, joyful. I feel like some are saying, you know, you are creating abundance, but I feel like I want to share it with someone at the same time. Well, it is coming over the Ten of Cups. I could see some of you working in the field of like helping those who have, let's say, addiction problems, helping them to overcome. I just feel like you're doing something that's real beneficial to others, especially those who kind of feel like they're in trouble. Now, I'm sure that's not all of you, and I don't want to limit. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that's all it is. I feel like it's really about your soul's calling. Okay. The Ten of Swords. Well, you're not hoping for that. The Nine of Wands, interesting in the exact same position as your love. The Four of Cups and the Sun again. Leo, 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 Leo. Everywhere's a Leo. And if you are connected to a Leo some way, somehow, please leave it in the comment section because there's no way that someone is not connected to a Leo or will be. Maybe I should have put it like that. Maybe you don't know yet. But now, the Sun over the High Priestess, your intuition. Boy, you want to talk about clear intentions. You want to talk about picking up signs like the first time. Like you are picking up what your spiritual team is laying down. And even though I don't want to, let's go and talk about the Ten of Swords for a second. Because it is touching the Fool. And there's no way this is what you're wishing for. So this must have been something that had to end. But your reflection over it again, which is a good thing. You want to know that. I often feel the Ten of Swords is like a karmic loop. It's me giving something or someone chance after chance after chance. But it just keeps turning out the same way. And what your spirit team would say, and it will continue. And it will continue. So this is you taking daggers in your back. But again, this month you are making some clear statements, whether you're literally saying it or you're saying it to your guides. You are no longer explaining yourself, and you are now being met. So this energy, for some of you, it could have certainly been like a karmic soulmate, a karmic situation. But this is you with the Nine of Wands, seeing that, knowing that. And I feel like ending it, which is exactly what you want to do. Here, it does feel like I don't have any power. I've become submissive. Something is shaking you up. And now, you see it. It's very clear. The sun is right there. And for some of you, this is what came in between you and your dreams. But now that you know that, you're eliminating that. And I feel like as we eliminate these things, your energy just gets lighter and lighter and lighter. And I mean that in a way where I feel like restrictions, there are none. That was yesterday's news. And then we have the Four of Cups. Well, Four of Cups talks about discontentment or boredom within one's emotional world. But there is a cup coming in. And we already know that because we did the love portion. But we do have the Ten of Cups here. So who knows? This may be when you move in together or, commit to each other. The meaning of this card, though, is about using your spiritual discernment. Now, it's coming right over the Seven of Pentacles. So again, these seeds, they're coming to fruition. It is their time. It is their soul time. Yes, the ball was put in your court. But I feel like I just feel like it's going to be so clear. I don't know how it couldn't be with the sun coming out over and over again. And now the sun right over your intuition. Trust it, believe it, and try to follow it. Hello, Destiny. Your wheel. The wheel and the Seven of Pentacles really are the same to me. I mean, they're different, but very similar type energy. Both are, what was destined. So for some, it's like seeds that were planted before you incarnated into this lifetime, and this is their timing. And I'm not going to say the timing, it could have been earlier, but maybe you weren't ready yet. But as I say that, I feel like, no, this is more about what feels like divine timing. Here's that Seven of Cups again. And then look at this, the Knight of Cups. So look how love has also moved into your money sector. But why not? Some of you, maybe you're becoming like a love guru. This is an unexpected cup of fulfillment. And how interesting, what's mirroring it is the Four of Cups, where a cup is literally coming in. Meant to be. Meant to be. You choose. But it's coming. Now, this Knight of Cups, I know, I have a feeling it's coming twice, because I know it's coming in your love. But now this is also talking about fulfillment within your career, your business, your baby. And I know not everyone has their own business. Some do work for a company. And if that's the case, it is just saying, again, you're still going to receive epiphanies and ideas, and that may create a beautiful bonus for you. Raise. And for those who have had enough of an old job, I feel like chances are you have already left it. And this is about putting the trust in. If you've been wanting to work from home, trust that. Because this feels like you are totally being supported by the universe, by divine. And it feels like something your soul is ready for. And it may just surprise you how good you become at something, or how good you're already becoming at something. And I feel like this is just the beginning. Even though we see the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, I still feel like it's the beginning. Aquarius, what a reading. Abundance, love, both off the charts. And this is why I could not wait to do January's readings. And I'll tell you why. Because I know how many of you have been working so hard to clear old energy, to free yourself from what no longer serves you, to take no more bullshit. You have been clearing it, and it's showing the benefits of that. The wheel is now free to spin. And where it's taken you, it's a place that only souls dream about. Because our humanness hasn't had it before. Not in this lifetime. Previous lifetimes, yes. Because when you see the high priestess, I want you to know that is your intuition, but it's also your ancestors. It's the wisdom of every life that you have lived. And that info comes up just when you need it. So, do I feel like you're going to reach that Palace of Wands? Without doubt. Well, I shouldn't say without doubt, because it is going to depend, right? It's going to depend if, what action steps you're going to take. But can I just say thank you, guides, for such a beautiful reading. I definitely feel like they've recognized what you've been through, what you've gone through, and also what you've overcome, but in a spiritual way. Because these feel like blessings after some difficult lessons. But listen, it's not just any old thing. It's something that your soul, whether you know it yet or not, is going to be very good at. Very good at. Chase your dreams. Don't let anybody come in between you and your dreams. You don't need to. Because what you're thinking, it feels right. And what beautiful spiritual guidance you have along the way. I mean, I always know that, but I love how they're showing it. Oh, it's like someone's knocking on my window. And I'm 2 floors up. That is weird. Like someone just knocked on my window. I don't know if you heard it or not. I mean, I just did that, but okay, maybe it's my spirit guide saying, okay, we're done here. Because I do feel like we are done. I feel like the reading has said what it needed to say. And now I release the energy to you to go and be all that you can be. And you can be. I love you guys. I thank you guys. I really thank you for, it's okay if someone doesn't want to watch a whole video. Totally their choice. But can I say to the ones who do, thank you. Because you're seeing the complete picture. And I thank you for trusting me, really, with your life. And I don't take that lightly. Happy New Year. Happy birthday. Happy life. I love you guys. I will see you next time. Have a fantastic January. I love you. Bye-bye. Look, you're reading